Hello. Tonight, we will talk about ancient Egypt. Relax, close your eyes, and just listen. The first light of dawn slowly spread across the vast desert, painting the sands with soft hues of gold and amber. The air was still, carrying a gentle warmth that promised a long day ahead. The workers stirred in their simple huts, waking quietly, careful not to disturb one another. As the faint sounds of the desert began to stir, the distant calls of birds and the whisper of wind over the dunes. Slowly, they rose, stretching their tired muscles, preparing for the labor that awaited them by the towering stones of the pyramid. Outside, the first rays of sun touched the massive blocks, casting long, serene shadows across the ground. The atmosphere was peaceful, yet full of purpose, each worker understanding the importance of the task that lay before them. Some gathered tools, smooth stones, and wooden sledges, arranging everything meticulously before beginning the journey to the construction site. Others walked towards the edge of the plateau, surveying the immense area where the pyramid would rise, their eyes tracing the outlines of stones already in place, imagining the grand structure that would endure for centuries. The leaders called out softly, instructing small groups to begin moving stones, their voices calm, measured, blending with the gentle sounds of the desert. The workers lifted each stone carefully, feeling its weight, adjusting their grip, working in unison to glide it along the sand. Sweat began to form on their brows, the heat rising gradually, yet their movements were deliberate, almost rhythmic, like a quiet dance, each step precise, each pull steady and controlled. Some workers focused on carving the limestone blocks, their chisels tapping slowly, producing a soft, repetitive echo that merged with the ambient sounds of wind and distant voices. Others guided the sledges, ensuring they moved in straight lines, aligning each heavy stone perfectly with those already in place. The sun climbed higher, bathing the workers in a warm light that reflected off the sand and stones, highlighting the beauty of their labor, making each block gleam softly. A slow breeze passed occasionally, cooling their skin and carrying the faint scent of palm trees from the nearby oasis. At the center of the site, a young worker paused, watching the shadows shift across the pyramid's base, marveling at the silent progress, feeling a quiet pride in the part he played in this timeless creation. Meanwhile, the older workers maintained a steady pace, their experience guiding their movements, hands worn and steady, eyes scanning for any imperfection in alignment or placement. The rhythm of labor continued, punctuated by small moments of communication, nods, and soft encouragements, never loud, never hurried, preserving the serene tempo of the work. Birds occasionally flew across the open sky, their wings casting fleeting shadows over the stones, adding a gentle, natural melody to the atmosphere. Some workers paused to drink from clay jars, the cool water soothing their throats, their breathing measured, controlled, as if even hydration was part of a slow, mindful routine. Children from nearby huts sometimes watched quietly, fascinated by the scale of the stones and the care with which they were moved, learning the rhythm of patience and precision that defined the construction. As the morning progressed, the stones gradually formed the lower layers of the pyramid, each block perfectly aligned, fitting into the silent, growing monument with ease and grace. Dust rose slowly with each movement, hanging in the air like a faint veil, softening the harsh sunlight, making the scene appear almost dreamlike. The foreman walked among the workers, adjusting positions subtly, offering guidance in quiet tones, ensuring that the work continued seamlessly, without haste or tension. Laughter was rare but gentle, small smiles exchanged between workers, a human warmth amidst the vast, golden landscape. The sun continued its climb, and the heat intensified, yet the workers maintained their calm rhythm, unbroken, their focus unwavering, each task approached with deliberate care. Some of the men carried ropes and pulleys, preparing to adjust heavier stones that would soon ascend to higher levels, planning each move with patience, never rushing, always precise. The sound of chisels against stone became a soft percussion, blending with the distant murmurs of conversation and the occasional creak of wooden sledges over sand. A small group paused briefly to rest in the shade of a partially built section of the pyramid, the cool shadow offering relief from the relentless sun, their breathing deep, measured, a collective moment of calm. After a short rest, the workers returned to their stations, resuming the slow, methodical progression of moving, carving, and positioning stones. The pyramid rose quietly, each layer a testament to patience and coordination, a monument not just of stone but of calm, deliberate effort sustained over hours and days. The midday sun cast sharp shadows across the site, yet the workers seemed attuned to its passage, moving in harmony with its light, their shadows stretching and contracting as they labored in measured rhythm. Slowly, the narrative of labor unfolded, the movement of each stone, the careful alignment, the occasional soft exclamation of coordination, all combining into a continuous, soothing cadence that enveloped the site in a quiet, meditative energy. Water was brought again, shared carefully among the men, the sound of pouring liquid gentle, a brief musical interlude in the ambient rhythm of stone and sand. Children and occasional animals wandered at the edges of the site, their presence adding a faint liveliness, yet nothing to disturb the pervasive serenity. The afternoon progressed in this quiet, steady manner, each worker deeply immersed in the act of creation, their minds focused on the task, yet free in the simplicity of repetitive, deliberate motion. Slowly, as the sun began its descent, the colors of the desert softened, golden sands becoming tinged with pink and orange, reflecting against the stones, casting a warm, tranquil glow over the construction site. The workers paused for a brief collective rest, sitting on the sand or leaning against the stones they had placed, observing the subtle shifts of light and shadow, feeling a calm satisfaction at the progress made. In this soft, fading light, the harmony of movement and sound continued, the site alive with quiet, deliberate activity, yet infused with a calm that seemed to slow time itself. Ropes were adjusted, stones aligned, hands wiped clean, each motion careful, almost ceremonial, a part of the enduring ritual of building the pyramid. As the sun lowered further, the workers' shadows lengthened, stretching across the sand like slow-moving specters, yet the energy remained gentle, controlled, unhurried. The foreman inspected the work quietly, nodding approval, offering subtle guidance with soft gestures and murmured words, maintaining the serene tempo of labor. By late afternoon, the base of the pyramid had grown significantly, each stone a part of a monumental, patient effort that spoke of precision, harmony, and unbroken rhythm. The workers moved in coordination, a silent dance of strength and care, each motion predictable yet mesmerizing in its steadiness. The desert air cooled slightly, carrying the faint scent of distant palms and warm sand, softening the edges of the day, creating a tranquil environment for the remaining hours of work. As shadows deepened, the workers focused on the final stones of the lower layers, placing them with utmost care, ensuring stability and alignment, their movements deliberate, almost ceremonial. The rhythmic tapping of tools, the gentle dragging of stones, and the soft instructions of the foreman blended seamlessly, creating a soundscape that was both productive and calming. With the sky now a canvas of soft oranges and purples, the workers prepared to conclude the day, storing tools carefully, ensuring each stone was secure, every rope coiled neatly. The final steps were slow, deliberate, as though reluctant to leave the serenity of the work behind, each man immersed in the quiet satisfaction of accomplishment. The first torches were lit at the edges of the site, their flickering light casting gentle shadows over the stones, illuminating the silent, proud structure that had emerged under the day's labor. Slowly, the workers departed, moving toward their huts, their movements unhurried, reflecting on the day's effort, each step measured and calm. The desert settled into the embrace of evening, the wind whispering across the sand, the soft glow of torches fading, leaving only the tranquil hum of the night. And as the last light disappeared, the pyramid stood silently, a testament to the patience, care, and quiet rhythm of a day spent in mindful labor. As the evening deepened, the sky transformed into a soft gradient of indigo and violet, with the first stars beginning to twinkle faintly above the endless desert. The workers walked slowly back to their huts, the sand cool beneath their bare feet, each step unhurried, savoring the quiet end of another long day. The air carried a gentle chill, a welcome relief from the heat of the afternoon, and the distant sound of the wind brushing over the dunes created a soft, rhythmic lull that blended seamlessly with the memory of the day's labor. Some men lingered near the site a moment longer, placing small stones carefully at the edges, ensuring no shift had occurred, each action deliberate, precise, almost meditative in its calmness. The towering blocks of the pyramid glimmered in the faint moonlight, casting long, serene shadows that stretched across the sand, making the site appear even more monumental and timeless. In the quiet of the evening, a few workers performed the last maintenance tasks, coiling ropes neatly, stacking tools, and checking the alignment of the stones one final time before leaving. The distant hum of nocturnal creatures began to fill the air, insects chirping softly, a faint rustle in the desert grass, a night bird calling far away. The men's movements slowed as they prepared their evening meals, simple dishes of bread and dried dates, shared quietly among them, the soft murmur of conversation blending with the night sounds. The aroma of the warm bread mingled with the faint scent of sand and stone, a comforting reminder of the simple pleasures in a day filled with demanding labor. Children played quietly near the huts, their laughter soft and sporadic, a gentle backdrop to the otherwise serene environment. As the last remnants of sunlight faded, small fires were lit near the huts, their glow casting dancing patterns on the walls of the simple dwellings, offering warmth and light as the night settled in. The workers gathered briefly near these fires, exchanging stories of their families, their voices soft, almost reverent, honoring the end of a day well spent. Some closed their eyes for a short rest, leaning against the walls or sitting on the sand, the steady rhythm of breathing and occasional soft murmurs filling the night air. In the distance, the pyramid's base reflected the flickering firelight, revealing the intricate arrangement of stones, each carefully placed by countless hands over hours of dedicated work. The desert night stretched endlessly, cool and vast, and the wind carried a gentle whisper that seemed to celebrate the harmony of human effort and nature. Slowly, the workers retreated fully into their huts, securing doors, settling onto mats, and adjusting the simple bedding for comfort. The night sky was dotted with countless stars, constellations faintly visible, creating a quiet canopy over the sleeping village. A soft breeze entered the open spaces of the huts, rustling the cloth coverings gently, a natural lullaby for the men and children resting within. The distant outline of the pyramid appeared even more majestic in the moonlight, silent and unmoving, a lasting testament to the coordinated labor, patience, and skill of the day. Occasionally, a whisper of conversation traveled from one hut to another, gentle and calming, with no urgency, preserving the tranquil rhythm of the evening. Fires burned low, casting warm, flickering glows that gradually softened as the embers cooled, blending the colors of light and shadow into one gentle palette. The workers' breathing deepened as sleep overtook them, each inhale and exhale in sync with the quiet serenity of the desert night. Outside, the wind continued to move softly over the sand and stones, brushing the edges of the pyramid with a tender caress, as if acknowledging the day's accomplishment. A few stars brightened as the moon rose higher, their pale light reflecting softly off the smooth surfaces of the carefully arranged blocks. The children's playfulness faded, replaced by calm breathing, their bodies sinking into the soft mats, dreams beginning to weave around them like delicate threads of sand and starlight. The older men occasionally adjusted their blankets or shifted positions for comfort, their movements slow, deliberate, never disturbing the harmony of the night. From time to time, an animal stirred, a fox in the distance, a small nocturnal bird, adding a subtle rhythm to the otherwise silent landscape. The pyramid, though silent, seemed alive in the moonlight, its stones absorbing the energy of the day and radiating a calm, timeless presence across the desert. Gentle shadows moved across the site as the moonlight shifted slowly with the passing hours, the shapes of the stones creating a soft, mesmerizing pattern on the sand. The workers' village was peaceful, fires now only faintly glowing, the hushed sounds of breathing, shifting cloth, and distant wind filling the space with a meditative cadence. Even in sleep, the workers remained connected to their labor, their minds carrying images of aligned stones, the gentle rhythm of movement, and the satisfaction of tasks completed with care. The air cooled further as the night deepened, and the scent of desert flora mingled faintly with the aroma of earth and stone, creating a natural, soothing atmosphere. Occasionally, a soft sound of a shifting stone or a distant call carried across the site, but it only added to the immersive tranquility of the environment. The pyramid's silhouette, now fully outlined against the night sky, remained a constant presence, silently observing the sleeping village below. As hours passed, the stars wheeled slowly across the sky, their movement almost imperceptible, yet marking the quiet passage of time in this serene, timeless place. The soft rustling of palm leaves in the oasis, faintly audible in the distance, joined with the whisper of wind over sand to create a delicate, natural symphony. Inside the huts, the workers' dreams intertwined with memories of the day, the weight of stones, the rhythm of chisels, the gentle coordination of human effort blending into their subconscious. The quiet harmony of labor, rest, and night unfolded like a gentle story, each moment layered with patience, calm, and understated wonder. Outside, the desert embraced the night, stretching endlessly, the pyramid standing silent, majestic, and eternal, reflecting moonlight and stars alike. Each inhalation of the cool night air brought a subtle sense of calm, a shared tranquility felt by all who rested in the shadow of their monumental creation. The interplay of darkness and light, warmth and cool, movement and stillness created a hypnotic rhythm, slowly drawing every listener into deeper relaxation. With every passing hour, the workers and their families sank further into restorative sleep, the day's labor now a gentle memory, the pyramid silently preserving the quiet essence of their effort. The night continued its slow, unbroken rhythm, stars shimmering faintly, winds caressing stones, and the desert remaining calm, vast, and infinite. Even the smallest details, the soft shifting of sand, the distant echo of a night bird, the faint creak of a wooden sledge left in the sand, added to the immersive, soothing environment. The village slept undisturbed, enveloped in a gentle cocoon of warmth, quiet, and the satisfaction of a day spent in mindful, purposeful work. Slowly, the scene seemed to breathe with the workers, the pyramid, and the desert itself, a soft, unhurried pulse connecting earth, stone, and sky. In this serene nocturnal landscape, time felt suspended, each moment a gentle continuation of the previous, forming a soothing, endless narrative of labor, care, and rest. As the first hint of dawn appeared on the horizon, a faint glow tinted the desert sands with pale gold and soft pink, signaling the beginning of a new day. The air was cool and crisp, carrying a gentle whisper of wind that brushed across the pyramid's massive stones, stirring a sense of anticipation and calm. Slowly, the workers began to stir from their huts, stretching and yawning, their movements deliberate, each breath in harmony with the tranquility of the morning. The soft calls of distant birds echoed across the desert, a gentle accompaniment to the quiet awakening of the village. Some men walked toward the pyramid with slow, measured steps, inspecting the alignment of the previous day's work, ensuring every stone remained perfectly in place. The leaders moved among them quietly, offering soft guidance and reminders, their voices low and soothing, maintaining the unhurried rhythm that defined the labor. Tools were gathered once again, polished and checked, each chisel and rope carefully prepared for the day ahead, every detail attended to with calm precision. The air gradually warmed as the sun ascended, golden light spilling across the desert, illuminating the vast expanse of sand and stone with a serene brilliance. Workers adjusted their positions, each finding their designated role, some to carve stones, others to transport them, all moving in a synchronized, deliberate rhythm. The wooden sledges were placed carefully beneath heavy limestone blocks, ropes looped precisely, ready to glide the stones smoothly over the sand. The first stones of the day began to move, their journey slow and controlled, each step a gentle repetition of the previous day's labor, creating a hypnotic cadence. Hands gripped ropes, muscles flexed with quiet strength, and the stones slid forward, raising soft clouds of sand that sparkled faintly in the sunlight. Some workers chiseled carefully, their movements producing a steady, calming percussion, a sound that merged seamlessly with the soft desert wind. The foreman observed quietly, nodding approval, occasionally offering a soft word or gesture, their presence reassuring and unhurried. The pyramid grew steadily, each stone added with meticulous care, the structure slowly ascending as if breathing with the rhythm of the laborers. Sweat began to form on brows, yet the pace remained measured, each movement deliberate, the work both exhausting and deeply satisfying. Water was shared intermittently, each sip refreshing, a small pause in the continuous, meditative flow of effort. Children watched from a distance, curious yet respectful, their presence gentle and unobtrusive, adding a soft layer of life to the serene scene. As the morning progressed, the sunlight warmed the stones, their surfaces glowing softly, revealing the careful alignment and precise craftsmanship achieved through patient repetition. The rhythmic sound of chisels, the soft scraping of stones over sand, and the occasional murmur of instruction created a continuous, soothing auditory landscape. Even the desert itself seemed calm, the wind flowing over dunes and stones in soft, gentle currents, blending with the human effort into a harmonious whole. The workers moved in patterns that had become almost ceremonial, each gesture familiar, comforting, and essential to the slow progress of the pyramid. Occasionally, an older worker paused to inspect the work of others, offering subtle corrections with soft, patient guidance, ensuring the integrity of each layer remained flawless. The pyramid's base expanded steadily, the lower stones forming a foundation that seemed eternal, each block fitting perfectly, absorbing the labor, care, and time invested. As the sun climbed higher, shadows shifted slowly across the site, highlighting the texture of the sand and stone, accentuating the methodical work being done. Small groups carried stones along the sandy paths, their coordinated movements creating a visual rhythm as they advanced step by step, block by block. Ropes tightened, sledges creaked softly, chisels tapped repeatedly, and the faint hum of conversation floated over the worksite, blending into a calming symphony. The workers paused briefly for a midday break, gathering under the shade of palm fronds and simple cloth coverings, sharing water and small portions of bread and dates. Breaths were deep, measured, the pause almost meditative, each person savoring the moment of quiet in contrast to the slow, purposeful labor. Some took a moment to reflect on the pyramid's growing form, tracing the edges with their eyes, feeling the satisfaction of contributing to something far greater than themselves. After this short rest, work resumed with the same careful, deliberate rhythm, each stone moved and placed with attentive precision. The afternoon sun cast warm light across the site, and the pyramid's structure grew taller, its presence dominating the surrounding landscape, yet blending harmoniously with the desert's vastness. The workers' muscles moved in familiar patterns, repetition creating both efficiency and a calming, meditative flow. Each stone carried a quiet weight, not only physically but in significance, each block a part of a larger, timeless narrative. The soundscape remained tranquil, the gentle creaking of wood, the soft scraping of stone, and the measured footsteps combining into a hypnotic, sleep-inducing cadence. The leaders continued their calm supervision, guiding subtly, offering reassurance without haste, maintaining the serene tempo of the day. The workers' minds focused on each movement, the rhythm of their tasks reinforcing a sense of purpose and quiet contentment. Birds occasionally glided across the sky, their wings casting fleeting shadows on the sand and stones, adding natural grace to the human-made rhythm. As the day progressed, shadows lengthened, softening the light and adding depth to the scene, each stone becoming a gentle anchor in the desert landscape. Water was shared again periodically, the sound of pouring liquid blending seamlessly with the ambient environment, a soft auditory refreshment. Children lingered near the outskirts, occasionally calling softly to one another, their voices gentle and fleeting, never disturbing the tranquility. The pyramid's form rose steadily, each level meticulously aligned, a testament to patience, coordination, and enduring calm. By late afternoon, the workers focused on the final stones for the current layer, careful and unhurried, ensuring perfection in each placement. The ambient sounds of wind, stone, and human effort created a mesmerizing rhythm, drawing the listener into a state of serene focus. Even minor details, the shimmer of dust in sunlight, the faint creaking of a rope, or the soft thud of a stone settling, enhanced the immersive, calming experience. The pyramid seemed alive in the interplay of light and shadow, reflecting the day's effort in quiet majesty, a silent observer of the workers' patient labor. As evening approached, the temperature cooled, casting a softer glow over the site, and the workers prepared to gradually conclude the day's work. Stones were aligned one last time, tools were carefully stored, and ropes coiled neatly, each action deliberate, maintaining the peaceful tempo. The pyramid's base reflected the fading light, glowing with a quiet brilliance, a testament to the methodical, serene effort of the day. The workers moved back toward their huts slowly, their steps measured, each man immersed in calm reflection of the day's accomplishments. The desert embraced the approaching night, winds gentle, stars faintly beginning to appear, casting a subtle shimmer across the sands. Fires were lit near the huts, flickering softly, and the workers shared a quiet evening meal, conversations low and soothing, reinforcing the calm atmosphere. Gradually, the village quieted further, each individual settling into their mats, the soft sounds of movement blending with the distant whispers of the desert. The pyramid stood silently, its stones absorbing the energy of the day, radiating a quiet, enduring presence across the cool evening landscape. The moon rose higher, casting pale light over the sand and stones, illuminating the site with a gentle, serene glow. The wind moved softly across the desert, brushing against the pyramid, the huts, and the resting workers, creating a natural, soothing rhythm. Even in sleep, the workers remained connected to their labor, the calm of their efforts lingering in their dreams, interwoven with visions of aligned stones and soft, measured movements. The night deepened, the stars wheeling slowly overhead, the desert vast and silent, each moment stretching into the next, a continuous, serene narrative of labor, rest, and harmony. The night stretched endlessly over the desert, the vast expanse of sand and stone bathed in the soft glow of the moon. The pyramid stood silently, its stones cool and steady, reflecting the faint starlight that scattered across the sky. Inside the huts, the workers slept deeply, their breathing slow and rhythmic, synchronized with the gentle whisper of wind over the dunes. Occasionally, a soft creak of a wooden sledge left near the site broke the silence, yet it only added to the tranquil, hypnotic cadence of the night. The desert was alive in subtle ways, the distant rustle of small creatures, the faint hum of nocturnal birds, the whisper of the wind, all creating a soothing backdrop for restful slumber. The shadows of the pyramid stretched far and wide, forming dark, calm shapes across the sand, immovable and majestic in the moonlight. Some workers dreamed of the day's labor, the weight of the stones, the rhythm of pulling and placing, the quiet coordination that had guided every motion. The air was cool, carrying the faint scent of sand and stone, mixing with the subtle aroma of dried herbs from the small gardens near the huts. Each hut was a cocoon of warmth and calm, the soft rustling of cloth as blankets shifted, forming a gentle lullaby. Outside, the stars wheeled slowly across the sky, their light soft and unhurried, marking time in a serene, imperceptible rhythm. The wind moved steadily over the desert, brushing past stone and sand, carrying the subtle whispers of the pyramid and the village, connecting the night into a gentle flow. The youngest children slept peacefully, dreaming of quiet adventures in the desert, shadows of pyramids blending with golden sands in their imaginations. Occasionally, an older worker stirred briefly, adjusting his position on the mat, hands resting lightly on the sand, before settling back into calm sleep. The pyramid stones absorbed the stillness of the night, radiating a soft, almost imperceptible energy that seemed to hum gently through the desert air. Faint sounds traveled across the site, a distant bird call, the shifting of sand, the soft exhale of wind, each contributing to the peaceful, immersive soundscape. The moon rose higher, casting silver light across the pyramid, highlighting the precise alignment of each stone, the smooth surfaces catching the faint glimmer. A few fires burned low near the huts, the embers glowing softly, providing gentle warmth and subtle illumination, their flickering shadows moving slowly across the sand. The workers' village was still, the soft rhythm of breathing, the occasional shuffle of a mat, the faint movement of hands, all blending into a continuous, soothing cadence. The pyramid, silent and immense, seemed to watch over the village, an eternal presence in the cool, calm night, connecting past and present through patient, meticulous labor. Time seemed suspended in the desert, each moment stretching into the next, as if the stars themselves moved in slow, measured patterns above the sleeping village. The night air carried a soft, dry fragrance, the subtle scent of desert flora and sand mingling with the cool breeze, creating a natural, calming environment. The workers' dreams were interwoven with visions of the pyramid's progress, the gentle alignment of stones, the rhythmic motion of hands and feet, the quiet guidance of foremen. Outside, the faint glow of distant torches illuminated shadows of tools and stones, casting slow-moving patterns that added depth to the silent landscape. The desert embraced the night, stretching infinitely in all directions, the sounds and sights forming a seamless, tranquil story that carried on through the hours. The soft, subtle movements of nocturnal creatures, the whisper of wind, and the distant glimmer of stars created a meditative rhythm that seemed to flow through stone, sand, and sleeping humans alike. The pyramid remained steady, the lower layers perfectly aligned, silent witnesses to the night, absorbing calm energy from the moonlight and wind. Each breath of the sleeping workers was slow and deep, perfectly synchronized with the quiet cadence of the desert, a natural lullaby that reinforced serenity. The stars wheeled slowly overhead, their light constant yet gentle, bathing the sight in silver tranquility, marking the passage of time without haste. The air shifted slightly, a soft current brushing past the pyramid stones, carrying a whisper of the day's labor and the promise of the morning ahead. Deep in sleep, the workers' bodies rested fully, muscles recovering from the previous day's exertion, their minds calm, immersed in gentle, repetitive visions of work and accomplishment. Occasionally, a soft sound of shifting sand or distant call traveled across the site, subtle and soothing, a part of the continuous nocturnal rhythm. The fires near the huts glowed faintly, casting shadows that moved lazily, almost imperceptibly, over the sand and walls, blending with moonlight to create a peaceful interplay of light and shadow. The pyramid stood in quiet majesty, each stone a silent sentinel in the calm night, an enduring testament to human patience, effort, and precision. The desert's tranquility seemed endless, a continuous expanse of sand, stone, and sky, the gentle hum of nature forming a perfect, hypnotic backdrop. Each inhalation of night air was cool and calming, each exhalation releasing tension, reinforcing the serene environment around the sleeping village. The workers' breaths, slow and even, blended seamlessly with the subtle, continuous sounds of the desert, creating a meditative atmosphere. Stars glimmered softly above, casting silver reflections over the pyramid stones, enhancing the hypnotic quality of the night. The village remained quiet, enveloped in a soft cocoon of warmth, shadow, and ambient sound, each element contributing to an unbroken sense of calm. Slowly, the night progressed, the pyramid absorbing the gentle rhythms, the workers' rest, and the serene desert energy, forming a continuous, immersive narrative of peace. The soft exhale of wind brushed over sand and stone, harmonizing with distant, subtle movements of nocturnal animals and the faint crackle of embers, creating a gentle, continuous soundscape. The workers' dreams carried reflections of the pyramid, the rhythm of the day, and the calm, deliberate movements of hands and tools, all interwoven with the quiet nocturnal environment. The pyramid rose silently, a calm, steady presence in the night, its form illuminated softly by moonlight and embers, casting long, soothing shadows across the sand. Each stone seemed to hum faintly with energy, absorbing the calm, patient rhythm of the workers and desert alike, reinforcing a sense of timeless tranquility. The night air continued to flow gently, brushing past each surface with a soft, cooling touch, enhancing the immersive calmness of the environment. Inside the huts, bodies shifted slightly in sleep, muscles relaxing fully, breathing remaining deep, steady, and unhurried. The stars moved slowly overhead, barely perceptible in their motion, marking hours that passed with a quiet, hypnotic rhythm. The desert night, vast and infinite, embraced the sleeping village, the pyramid, and the surrounding sands, creating a sense of peace that extended beyond perception. Soft, subtle sounds, the faint movement of sand, distant creatures, wind brushing stones, created a continuous, meditative backdrop that enveloped the workers in calm. The moonlight shimmered over the pyramid's surface, highlighting the alignment of stones, the careful work of countless hands, and the serene majesty of the structure. Each element, the night, the workers' sleep, the desert, the pyramid, merged into a seamless narrative of patience, rhythm, and quiet beauty. As hours passed, the night deepened, the village fully at rest, the desert vast and silent, the pyramid standing as a testament to deliberate, patient effort. The gentle rustle of fabric, the faint exhalation of humans and animals, and the whispering wind combined into a subtle, continuous symphony of calm. In dreams, workers revisited the motions of pulling stones, chiseling, adjusting ropes, and aligning blocks, all with slow, precise repetition, blending with the serene reality of the night. The air was still yet alive with quiet energy, a perfect balance of tranquility and life, reinforcing a sense of immersive calm. Outside, the desert stretched endlessly, shadows and moonlight shifting subtly across sand and stones, creating a hypnotic, visual rhythm. Fires burned low, embers glowing softly, their light mingling with moonbeams to cast delicate, undulating shadows across the huts and pyramid. Each inhalation of night air carried serenity. Each exhalation released tension, aligning the workers and the environment in a seamless, continuous rhythm of calm. The pyramid, the village, the desert, and the night sky merged into one immersive, tranquil experience, a slowly unfolding narrative of patience, quiet labor, and timeless presence. The first hints of dawn began to illuminate the desert once again, the pale golden light slowly spreading across the sands and brushing the edges of the pyramid with a gentle, soft glow. The workers stirred in their huts, stretching slowly, their movements deliberate and unhurried, each breath synchronized with the calm rhythm of the desert morning. The air was cool, carrying a faint whisper of wind over the sand, brushing against the massive stones, and creating a serene, soothing atmosphere. Birds began their morning calls softly in the distance, their songs gentle and melodic, blending with the faint hum of the desert and the distant movement of small animals. Workers emerged from their huts quietly, each step measured, the soft crunch of sand beneath their feet adding to the subtle, calming soundscape of the early day. Tools were gathered carefully, chisels, ropes, sledges, each checked for stability and prepared for the tasks ahead, their placement deliberate and precise. The foreman walked among the workers, observing with quiet attention, giving soft, low instructions, their presence reassuring and maintaining the unhurried, peaceful rhythm of labor. Slowly, the first stones of the day were moved, pulled along sandy paths with careful precision, the workers' synchronized movements creating a meditative, rhythmic flow. Sweat began to form on brows as the sun rose higher, yet the pace remained calm and steady, each motion deliberate, almost ceremonial, reflecting both skill and patience. The lower layers of the pyramid already gleamed in the morning light, perfectly aligned and solid, serving as a foundation for the stones that would follow, their placement executed with unwavering attention. Small groups carried limestone blocks carefully, sliding them slowly over the sand, adjusting grips, and ensuring smooth movement, the faint scraping sound blending with the desert breeze. Some men focused on carving new stones, chisels tapping rhythmically, producing a soft, hypnotic percussion that complemented the steady flow of labor around them. The foreman occasionally guided movements with gentle gestures, correcting angles or alignment with calm, patient instruction, preserving the meditative atmosphere. Water was shared periodically, each sip refreshing, offering a brief pause in the continuous, mindful repetition of tasks. Children watched quietly from a distance, their presence gentle and respectful, adding life to the scene without disturbing the tranquil environment. The pyramid gradually rose higher, each new stone carefully aligned, the structure growing in silent majesty under the warm morning sun. Shadows shifted slowly across the site, softening the bright light, revealing textures in the stone, and creating a calm, visually hypnotic effect. The workers' movements were synchronized, almost dance-like, each step and motion flowing naturally, reinforcing the steady rhythm of creation. Ropes were adjusted carefully, sledges guided slowly, stones moved with gentle coordination, each action deliberate and purposeful, yet soft and unhurried. Occasional sounds of soft conversation drifted across the site, low voices offering quiet guidance, brief encouragement, and subtle acknowledgement of effort, blending seamlessly into the ambient desert sounds. The wind moved in gentle currents, brushing over sand, stone, and the workers themselves, creating a natural, continuous, and soothing background melody. Mid-morning approached, and the sun warmed the desert more fully, highlighting the golden sands and the smooth, pale limestone of the pyramid. The workers continued in calm, steady rhythm, each group performing its task with quiet dedication, reinforcing the immersive tranquility of the environment. Stones were carefully placed, their surfaces smoothed and aligned, creating a solid, enduring structure that reflected both skill and deliberate effort. Occasional laughter was soft, almost whisper-like, a subtle reminder of human warmth amidst the grand, serene scale of the construction. The leaders moved among the teams, guiding, encouraging, and adjusting, always in soft tones, never raising voices, maintaining the calm cadence of work. The pyramid's base expanded steadily, each new layer a continuation of the previous day's patient labor, its rising form casting gentle shadows across the sand. Workers paused briefly to drink and rest, sitting under makeshift shade, the cool water providing relief, breaths deep and measured, their movements unhurried. The rhythm of chisels, the soft dragging of stones, and the gentle exhalation of wind created a hypnotic audio environment, inducing calmness in every observer. The desert itself seemed serene, vast, and unbroken, the soft undulations of sand blending with the deliberate human activity to form a peaceful, immersive tableau. Some men adjusted ropes for heavier stones that would be moved later, their careful attention ensuring safety and smooth execution, each motion deliberate, slow, and mindful. The lower layers of the pyramid reflected the sunlight in a soft, warm glow, emphasizing the careful alignment and harmonious proportions of the structure. Small dust clouds rose with each movement of stone, hanging briefly in the warm air, catching the light, and contributing to a subtle, tranquil visual effect. The workers' muscles moved repetitively, predictably, yet soothingly, as the rhythm of work created a meditative, immersive experience. The pyramid's growing height cast soft, shifting shadows, adding depth to the visual landscape, complementing the serene auditory environment. Children and occasional animals added life at the edges, their movements gentle, almost rhythmic in harmony with the human activity. Water and small snacks were shared, brief interludes in the otherwise continuous rhythm of labor, creating moments of quiet reflection and calm satisfaction. The afternoon sun climbed higher, bathing the site in golden light, highlighting textures and colors, casting soft, long shadows that stretched across sand and stone. Workers adjusted sledges, guided stones, and performed precise chiseling, each action executed slowly, deliberately, as part of a quiet, repetitive routine. The pyramid rose further, layers stacking meticulously, each stone a testament to careful, coordinated effort, absorbing the energy and rhythm of the workers. The gentle hum of activity was complemented by soft natural sounds, wind over dunes, distant birds, shifting sand, creating a layered, hypnotic ambience. The foreman walked calmly, inspecting work, offering subtle, low guidance, ensuring each block remained perfectly aligned, contributing to the immersive sense of order. Occasional laughter or whispered encouragement flowed naturally, always soft, blending with the ambient sounds to reinforce the serene, focused atmosphere. The workers' movements created patterns, almost visual rhythms, with sledges, ropes, and stones moving in coordinated, slow, deliberate motions. Dust hung softly in the air with each stone moved, the particles catching sunlight and creating a delicate, tranquil visual effect. Hands, feet, and muscles moved with practiced repetition, each motion contributing to a steady, meditative rhythm that carried through the desert site. The pyramid's lower and middle layers reflected the afternoon light, gleaming softly, a harmonious combination of natural beauty and human skill. Water breaks continued periodically, each pause measured, unhurried, and restorative, reinforcing the sense of calm, focus, and mindful effort. The desert remained expansive, quiet, and infinite, the horizon glowing softly, merging seamlessly with the gentle, hypnotic rhythm of the workers' movements. By late afternoon, the workers focused on the final stones of the current layer, careful and deliberate, ensuring structural stability and perfect alignment. Shadows lengthened, lights softened, and the workers' movements became slower, reflective, yet still rhythmic, preserving the calm cadence of labor. The soft soundscape continued, dragging stones, shifting sand, quiet voices, and the gentle wind combined into a continuous, meditative auditory experience. Each inhalation and exhalation of the workers matched the serene rhythm of the desert, reinforcing a sense of timeless calm and focused energy. The pyramid continued to grow silently, majestic and enduring, reflecting the collective patience and effort of all involved in its creation. As the sun approached the horizon, the warm glow highlighted the textures, angles, and careful precision of the work, creating a mesmerizing, tranquil visual environment. Workers adjusted ropes, checked alignments, and prepared for the final movements of the day, each step slow, deliberate, and mindful. The rhythmic, repetitive nature of the labor formed a hypnotic, soothing pattern, calming the mind and body of anyone observing. Small birds occasionally passed overhead, their gentle wing beats adding a subtle, natural accompaniment to the human rhythm below. The pyramid's height and symmetry cast soft shadows, creating a dynamic yet calm visual effect that harmonized with the desert landscape. The ambient sounds of wind, stone, and movement formed a gentle, immersive, meditative backdrop, encouraging relaxation and focus. Each stone placed reinforced the quiet continuity of the pyramid, the patient, deliberate effort of the workers forming an unbroken chain of calm, repetitive motion. The workers moved methodically, each task deliberate, precise, and slow, maintaining the peaceful tempo of the afternoon. As the day waned, the air cooled slightly, the desert softening into the calm hues of approaching evening, signaling the end of another productive, serene day. As the afternoon sun began its slow descent, the desert was bathed in soft golden and amber hues, stretching long shadows across the sand and the pyramid's rising stones. The workers moved with a measured, deliberate rhythm, each step slow, each motion precise, as if mirroring the calm pace of the waning day. The gentle hum of chisels, the faint scraping of sledges, and the soft shuffle of feet created a soothing, continuous rhythm, blending seamlessly with the whisper of wind over the dunes. Birds called softly in the distance, their faint melodies carried across the desert, adding delicate notes to the tranquil soundscape. The pyramid's structure, majestic and enduring, seemed to glow in the warm, late afternoon light, each stone reflecting hours of patient, coordinated effort. Workers adjusted the final stones of the day, ensuring they fit perfectly, their hands steady and careful, movements almost ceremonial in their calm precision. The foreman walked among the men, offering quiet guidance, their voices low and soft, maintaining the serene tempo of the afternoon. Occasionally, a stone would settle with a soft, satisfying thud, echoing faintly across the open desert, a gentle confirmation of successful labor. The air carried a subtle warmth, tinged with the cooling promise of evening, the faint scent of sand and stone mixing with the breeze. Water was shared once more, the refreshing liquid providing comfort and brief respite, each pause unhurried. almost meditative, reinforcing the calm rhythm of work. Children lingered at the outskirts, their movements quiet and careful, observing the process, their presence gentle and unobtrusive. Slowly, the workers began preparing to conclude the day's labor, coiling ropes, stacking tools, and ensuring each stone was securely in place. The shadows lengthened further as the sun approached the horizon, casting soft, elongated shapes across the sand, the pyramid's geometry accentuated in golden light. Some workers paused to wipe their brows and catch their breath, the deep, steady rhythm of their breathing harmonizing with the gentle murmur of the desert. The soft creaking of sledges and the faint tapping of chisels faded as tasks were completed, leaving a serene, quiet soundscape in the late afternoon. The air grew cooler, carrying whispers of wind across the expansive sands, rustling the edges of cloth coverings and brushing against the smooth surfaces of limestone blocks. Workers gathered in small groups briefly, sharing quiet conversation and soft laughter, voices gentle, blending seamlessly with the peaceful desert environment. The pyramid, now more imposing than ever, reflected the warm glow of the setting sun, each stone a testament to careful, repetitive labor and the passage of patient hours. Slowly, the men returned to their huts, their steps measured and calm, savoring the tranquility that followed a day of deliberate effort. The sky above shifted from gold and amber to soft pinks and purples, fading into the deep indigo of approaching night. Fires were lit near the huts, flickering gently, casting dancing shadows across the sand, illuminating the faces of men and children quietly preparing for evening. The aroma of simple meals, bread, dates, and roasted vegetables, drifted softly through the village, merging with the scent of sand and stone, creating a comforting, homely atmosphere. Children gathered near their families, the warmth of shared presence adding to the sense of calm, safety, and serenity. The pyramid stood silently in the background, its rising form bathed in soft firelight and fading sunlight, casting long, still shadows across the desert floor. Workers finished small maintenance tasks near the base, adjusting ropes, checking stones, and ensuring all tools were stored carefully for the night. Slowly, conversations quieted, the village settling into the calm, restorative rhythm of evening, each sound deliberate, soft, and measured. The wind brushed gently over dunes and stones, carrying distant whispers of life, rustling cloth, and faint nocturnal calls from desert creatures. The pyramid absorbed the quiet energy of the night, each stone a silent witness to patient effort and careful, deliberate construction. As twilight deepened, the first stars appeared, twinkling softly against the indigo sky, their light reflected faintly on the smooth surfaces of limestone. Workers began their evening rituals, washing hands and faces in small water basins, the gentle splashing blending with soft sighs of relaxation and relief. Huts became quiet sanctuaries, each person settling onto mats, blankets adjusted for comfort, bodies relaxing into the cooling air of night. The fires burned lower, embers glowing faintly, casting a warm, soft light that flickered gently across walls and sand, creating an immersive, hypnotic atmosphere. Even the desert seemed to exhale, wind softening, shadows lengthening, and temperatures falling gradually, reinforcing the calm of approaching night. The pyramid's silhouette grew more pronounced against the deepening sky, a majestic and silent observer of the village and its resting inhabitants. Some older workers reflected on the day, eyes closed or gazing at the distant horizon, feeling pride in their contribution, the serene satisfaction of work completed carefully. Soft nocturnal sounds, rustling leaves, distant bird calls, shifting sand, blended into a continuous, soothing symphony that echoed across the desert. The pyramid seemed to resonate with the calm, deliberate energy of the workers and the environment, its silent presence a comforting, grounding force. Children's breathing slowed as sleep overtook them, the gentle warmth of blankets and nearby fires creating a sense of safety and peace. Occasionally, a soft murmur of conversation floated through the village, quickly fading, leaving only tranquility in its wake. The stars wheeled slowly overhead, their movement imperceptible yet constant, marking the passage of time in the serene desert night. The wind shifted gently, brushing past stones and sand, carrying whispers of the pyramid's enduring presence and the calm energy of the village. Workers rested fully, muscles relaxed, minds calm. The day's labor now a memory, the rhythm of the desert and pyramid continuing in their dreams. Fires glowed faintly near huts, flickering softly, shadows dancing slowly across sand and walls, merging with the moonlight in a gentle interplay. The pyramid's form remained steadfast, reflecting soft silver moonlight and faint embers, its presence a tranquil anchor in the quiet desert. In dreams, workers revisited the movements of the day, lifting, chiseling, sliding stones, each motion slow, deliberate, and soothing, merging with the peaceful nighttime environment. Each inhalation of cool night air was calming. Each exhalation released tension, reinforcing the serene, meditative state of both workers and landscape. The desert night stretched vast and silent, the village and pyramid resting under a canopy of stars, timeless and immersive. Soft sounds, the faint movement of sand, subtle animal calls, the gentle rustling of fabric, combined into a continuous, hypnotic backdrop, reinforcing calm and tranquility. The pyramid's silhouette glimmered softly in moonlight, each stone a testament to human patience, skill, and careful effort, resonating subtly with the rhythm of the night. The air was filled with quiet energy, the perfect balance of rest, ambient sound, and lingering satisfaction from the day's work. Slowly, the night deepened, the village fully settled, the workers asleep, and the desert stretching endlessly, serene and infinite. The soft whisper of wind over sand and stones created a continuous, meditative cadence, merging human and natural rhythms into one immersive experience. The pyramid remained silent, majestic, a constant presence, absorbing and radiating calm, patient energy, reflecting the harmonious work of the day. Each star shimmered faintly, echoing the slow, steady rhythm of labor, rest, and the enduring tranquility of the desert night. The night continued its quiet procession, the moon casting gentle light across sand, stone, and huts, reinforcing the hypnotic, peaceful atmosphere. Workers' dreams carried echoes of lifting stones, chiseling edges, and aligning blocks, blending seamlessly with the serene nighttime sounds. The desert and pyramid seemed to breathe in tandem with the sleeping village, creating a soft, immersive narrative of patience, deliberate effort, and calm continuity. The fires dimmed, the embers glowing faintly, the night fully encompassing the village, the pyramid, and the surrounding sands in an endless, tranquil embrace. Each inhalation and exhalation, each subtle sound, each gentle shadow contributed to a meditative, hypnotic state, setting the scene for a calm, immersive transition into the next day. The soft glow of dawn began to spread across the desert once again, painting the sands in pale gold and soft pink hues that gradually brightened as the sun rose higher. Workers stirred gently in their huts, stretching slowly, feeling the cool morning air against their skin, their movements deliberate and unhurried. The desert was quiet except for the gentle whispers of wind over sand and the faint calls of morning birds, creating a soothing, serene backdrop for the beginning of the day. Slowly, the workers emerged, each step measured, the soft crunch of sand beneath their feet adding to the meditative rhythm of the morning. Tools were gathered carefully. Chisels, ropes, sledges, and wooden levers, each inspected and prepared with meticulous attention, ready for the tasks ahead. Foremen walked calmly among the workers, offering quiet guidance and soft reminders, their voices low and soothing, maintaining the peaceful cadence of labor. Stones were moved with gentle coordination, ropes tightened with precise care, sledges guided slowly across the sand, each motion contributing to the rhythm of the day. The pyramid's lower levels gleamed in the morning light, perfectly aligned, their smooth surfaces reflecting the patient effort of countless hands. Workers carved new stones, chisels tapping softly in rhythmic repetition, producing a hypnotic percussion that blended with the natural sounds of the desert. Small dust clouds rose as stones slid over sand, catching sunlight briefly before settling quietly, adding subtle visual texture to the serene environment. The foreman adjusted angles and alignment where necessary, their soft gestures and calm instruction ensuring the structure remained precise and stable. Water was shared periodically, providing brief, restorative pauses, each sip taken slowly, reinforcing the unhurried, meditative flow of work. Children watched quietly from the periphery, their movements gentle and unobtrusive, contributing a soft layer of life to the tranquil desert scene. As the morning progressed, the pyramid rose steadily, its middle levels beginning to take shape, the structure more imposing and majestic with each carefully placed stone. The shadows of the pyramid lengthened gradually as the sun climbed, highlighting textures, angles, and the rhythmic movements of workers across the site. Ropes were adjusted, sledges guided, stones lifted and aligned, each movement executed slowly and deliberately, maintaining the hypnotic cadence of the day. The wind moved softly, carrying the subtle scent of sand, limestone, and desert flora, blending naturally with the sounds of work to create a continuous, soothing backdrop. Lunch was shared quietly, simple meals of bread, dates, and water, eaten under the shade of palm fronds or cloth coverings, each bite deliberate, each pause reflective. After the break, work resumed with calm precision, the upper levels of the pyramid now within reach, requiring careful coordination and heightened attention. Workers synchronized their movements, sliding larger stones with ropes and levers, their actions slow, deliberate, and hypnotically rhythmic. The foreman guided efforts with gentle gestures, offering soft words of instruction that blended with the natural sounds of wind and distant birds. Sweat glistened on brows, but movements remained controlled, each effort measured, deliberate, and steady, reflecting both skill and patient repetition. Dust drifted softly through the air as stones shifted across sand, catching the light, adding a tranquil, visual rhythm to the scene. The pyramid's upper layers grew gradually, each block carefully positioned, the rising structure casting ever-lengthening shadows across the desert floor. Workers' hands and feet moved in familiar, meditative patterns, lifting, sliding, chiseling, and adjusting stones in a continuous, soothing flow of motion. Occasional soft murmurs of conversation carried across the site, blending seamlessly with the hypnotic rhythm of work, reinforcing a sense of calm, focus, and shared purpose. Birds and small animals added gentle, intermittent sounds, their presence subtle, unobtrusive, and harmonizing with the overall serenity of the environment. Water breaks continued intermittently, each pause measured and unhurried, allowing workers to rest briefly while maintaining the continuity of the calm, meditative rhythm. The foreman periodically inspected progress, their presence quiet and composed, ensuring perfect alignment and structural stability, enhancing the serene, immersive quality of the day. Dust shimmered in the sunlight as stones shifted, creating soft, visual patterns, blending naturally with the muted sounds of movement and wind. The pyramid's rising silhouette grew more dramatic, the upper levels gradually ascending, reflecting patient labor and meticulous coordination. Children observed quietly from the edges, their eyes wide with fascination, their breathing calm, blending with the meditative sounds of work. Soft shadows moved slowly across the site as sunlight shifted, highlighting textures, edges, and the precise alignment of each stone. Ropes and sledges creaked gently, stone met stone with subtle thuds, chisels tapped rhythmically, forming a layered, hypnotic auditory landscape. Water was shared again as the sun rose higher, the cooling liquid revitalizing the workers, each sip reinforcing the unhurried pace of their labor. The pyramid's form grew steadily, each layer stacking perfectly, the structure and embodiment of patient repetition, careful coordination, and immersive focus. The afternoon light warmed the stones, their smooth surfaces reflecting gold and pale cream hues, casting soft shadows across sand and surrounding desert. Workers' motions remained synchronized, each step and gesture contributing to the hypnotic, calming rhythm of construction. The wind shifted gently, brushing across the site, flowing over stones, sand, and bodies, creating a natural, continuous soundscape that merged with human effort. Stones were adjusted precisely, ropes retightened, sledges moved with soft, deliberate creaks, the visual and auditory rhythm of labor, hypnotic and immersive. Foremen provided soft corrections and subtle guidance, ensuring each stone fit perfectly, their voices low and calming, blending seamlessly into the tranquil desert environment. The pyramid's rising height cast long shadows, the interplay of light and dark creating a visual melody that harmonized with the hypnotic cadence of work. Small clouds of dust rose gently with each movement, catching sunlight briefly, shimmering softly, and fading quietly into the warm air. Workers' breathing was deep, steady, and rhythmic, matching the measured pace of their movements and the gentle ambient sounds around them. By late afternoon, the upper layers began to dominate the landscape, the pyramid now an imposing, majestic presence, its structure reflecting both skill and meditative patience. The sun began to lower, bathing the desert and the rising stones in soft amber and gold, highlighting textures and edges with gentle, calming contrast. The workers gradually slowed, adjusting final stones, stacking tools, coiling ropes, and preparing to conclude the day's labor. Fires were lit near the huts, flickering softly, casting warm light and gentle shadows across the desert and village, adding a soothing, visual rhythm. The pyramid stood silently, majestic and enduring, absorbing the day's calm, patient energy, reflecting golden light and gentle movement in quiet harmony. Conversations faded, movements slowed further, and the workers returned to their huts, each step deliberate, merging seamlessly with the tranquil desert evening. The air cooled as the sun set, shadows lengthened, and the first stars appeared, twinkling faintly in the soft indigo sky above the desert. Children settled close to families, the warmth of blankets and nearby fires adding a gentle sense of security and comfort. Workers completed evening rituals quietly, washing faces and hands, preparing mats and bedding for a restful night, each movement slow, deliberate, and calming. The desert embraced nightfall, the wind whispering softly, moving over sand and stones, creating a continuous, meditative soundtrack. The pyramid's silhouette remained dominant, silent, and serene, reflecting the fading sunlight and the first glimmers of moonlight, a timeless, calming presence. Fires dimmed slowly, embers glowing faintly, shadows dancing gently, merging seamlessly with the moonlight and the deepening twilight. Each inhalation of cool evening air carried tranquility, each exhalation released tension, enveloping the workers, village, and pyramid in calm. The desert night deepened, stars wheeling slowly overhead, the pyramid standing as a silent sentinel of patient effort and careful repetition. The gentle nocturnal sounds, rustling sand, soft animal movements, wind brushing stones, blended into a continuous, immersive, meditative backdrop. Workers' dreams carried the rhythm of the day, movements repeated gently in subconscious memory, merging with the calm energy of the night. The pyramid's structure reflected moonlight and faint embers, majestic, still, and enduring, anchoring the surrounding desert in serenity. Slowly, night fully enveloped the village, the workers asleep, the desert calm, and the pyramid radiating the quiet, timeless energy of patient labor. Each moment passed in gentle rhythm, the wind, stars, and soft ambient sounds forming a hypnotic, immersive narrative of continued calm. The day concluded peacefully, the workers, pyramid, and desert unified in a serene, meditative experience, readying the scene for the following day's continuation of gentle, deliberate construction. The soft light of dawn filtered gently over the desert, painting the sands in pale gold and soft lavender, signaling the start of another calm day. Workers stirred in their huts, stretching slowly, their movements deliberate, synchronized with the subtle rhythm of the desert morning. The air was cool and dry, carrying faint whispers of wind across the sand, brushing against the massive stones of the pyramid with a soothing, almost melodic touch. Birds called softly in the distance, their delicate notes blending seamlessly with the natural ambience, enhancing the immersive serenity of the scene. Tools were gathered quietly, ropes, sledges, chisels, and wooden levers, each prepared with care and placed precisely for easy access. Foremen moved slowly among the workers, offering calm, soft guidance, their presence reassuring, maintaining the unhurried, meditative pace of labor. Stones were lifted with careful coordination, ropes adjusted, sledges guided slowly across sand, each motion deliberate, forming a hypnotic rhythm that echoed across the site. The pyramid's lower and middle layers gleamed softly in the morning light, perfectly aligned, their smooth surfaces reflecting the patient effort of the hands that placed them. Small dust clouds rose as stones were moved, shimmering in the sunlight, adding subtle visual texture to the tranquil environment. Chisels tapped rhythmically, stones scraped against each other with soft thuds, and ropes creaked gently, creating a layered, hypnotic soundscape that merged with the desert breeze. Workers' hands moved in familiar patterns, lifting, adjusting, and aligning each stone with deliberate precision, reinforcing the serene, meditative quality of the labor. Children observed quietly from a distance, their breathing calm, their presence gentle, adding life without disrupting the peaceful cadence of work. Water breaks were shared periodically, each sip taken slowly, restorative, allowing for brief pauses in the continuous, measured rhythm. The pyramid rose steadily, the upper layers now the focus, requiring greater coordination and care, the work slower but no less rhythmic and soothing. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across sand and stone, highlighting textures and angles, the visual scene hypnotic and immersive. Foremen offered soft corrections with low, gentle voices, guiding stones into perfect alignment, their gestures deliberate and calm. The soft murmur of conversation floated across the site, blending seamlessly with the rhythmic sounds of labor, wind, and distant birds. Workers moved in synchrony, sliding stones, tightening ropes, adjusting sledges, each action deliberate, slow, and mesmerizing. Dust swirled softly with each shift, catching light briefly before settling quietly, adding a visual dimension to the tranquil auditory environment. The pyramid's silhouette grew more dramatic as upper levels were added, the structure increasingly imposing, majestic, and serene. Workers' movements were repetitive yet hypnotic. Lift, slide, adjust, align, step back, and repeat, each action reinforcing a calm, meditative flow. Occasional laughter or whispered encouragement drifted across the site, soft and fleeting, blending into the continuous, peaceful rhythm. Birds and small desert animals contributed gentle, intermittent sounds, harmonizing with the human activity without disruption. Water was shared intermittently, each break restorative, reinforcing the measured pace of labor and the meditative calm of the environment. The pyramid's upper layers were slowly constructed, each stone carefully positioned, the rising form casting elegant shadows across sand and stone. Workers' hands and feet moved in practiced repetition, creating a hypnotic pattern of motion, each step precise, deliberate, and calming. The soft wind shifted through the site, brushing over sand, stones, and workers alike, adding a natural, immersive layer of sound to the ongoing rhythm. Chisels tapped gently, stones settled with faint thuds, ropes creaked softly, and dust swirled briefly in sunbeams, reinforcing the layered, soothing ambience. Foremen guided placement with subtle gestures, their low voices a quiet anchor, preserving the hypnotic, meditative flow of work. The afternoon light warmed the stones, casting soft gold and pale cream hues, shadows lengthening slowly, and creating a visual harmony with the rhythmic movements. Workers moved stones with care, aligned surfaces meticulously, and coordinated as a team, maintaining calm, deliberate repetition. The pyramid's rising silhouette now dominated the horizon, a majestic, tranquil presence in the vast desert, reflecting both skill and patient effort. Children and onlookers observed quietly, breathing slowly, adding gentle life without disturbing the peaceful environment. Water breaks were again shared, the cool liquid reinforcing relaxation, each sip savored, maintaining the unhurried tempo of the day. Stones were adjusted and repositioned with care, ropes retightened, and sledges guided gently, every action deliberate, slow, and soothing. The foreman walked calmly among the workers, checking alignments, adjusting plans, and ensuring stability, their quiet presence harmonizing with the meditative rhythm. Dust shimmered faintly in sunlight with each movement, creating soft, transient patterns that enhanced the visual calm of the environment. The pyramid's upper layers rose steadily, the structure becoming more imposing, reflecting the combined effort and patience of the team. Workers' movements remained synchronized, methodical, and hypnotically rhythmic, each action part of a continuous, immersive pattern. Shadows lengthened as the sun approached the horizon, bathing the pyramid in soft amber and gold, emphasizing textures and angles. The air grew cooler, the wind brushing softly over sand and stone, merging natural sounds with the gentle rhythm of human effort. Workers adjusted final stones for the day, coiled ropes, stacked tools, and prepared to conclude, each motion slow and deliberate. Fires were lit near the huts, flickering gently, casting warm, moving light across sand and pyramid surfaces, adding visual serenity. The pyramid stood majestic, absorbing the energy of patient labor, reflecting the soft glow of fires and the fading sunlight. Conversations quieted, movements slowed, and workers returned to their huts, each step deliberate, blending seamlessly with the tranquil desert evening. The air cooled further as stars appeared, twinkling faintly in the indigo sky, adding subtle light to the calm scene. Children settled with their families, blankets adjusted, warm fires creating a sense of security and comfort. Workers completed evening rituals quietly, washing and preparing mats for rest, each action calm, precise, and unhurried. The desert embraced the nightfall, wind softening, shadows deepening, and the pyramid reflecting faint moonlight and flickering embers. Each breath taken was slow and deep, releasing tension, reinforcing a meditative, tranquil state across the village. The pyramid stood silent and serene, its structure absorbing the day's patient energy, radiating calm across sand and huts. Nocturnal sounds, the faint rustle of sand, soft animal movements, distant calls, blended into a continuous, soothing backdrop. Workers' dreams carried echoes of the day's motions, lifting, sliding, chiseling stones in gentle repetition, merging with night's calm. Fires dimmed slowly, embers glowing faintly, shadows moving softly, merging with moonlight, enhancing the immersive tranquility. Stars wheeled slowly overhead, silent and constant, marking time in the expansive, serene desert. The pyramid remained steadfast, majestic, silent, a beacon of patient labor, calm energy, and measured effort. The desert night deepened, workers asleep, the village quiet, and the pyramid radiating a continuous sense of peaceful endurance. Each inhalation of cool air, each subtle sound, each gentle shadow contributed to a hypnotic, meditative atmosphere. The day concluded in serene harmony. The pyramid, workers, and desert unified in a calming, immersive narrative of patience and deliberate creation. The soft light of dawn spread slowly over the desert, brushing the sands and the pyramid with gentle hues of gold and rose, signaling the start of the final day of work. Workers stirred in their huts quietly, stretching slowly, each movement deliberate and unhurried, harmonizing with the calm rhythm of the desert morning. The air was cool and still, carrying faint whispers of wind over sand and stones, brushing against the pyramid's smooth surfaces with a soothing, melodic touch. Birds called softly in the distance, their songs delicate and intermittent, merging seamlessly with the natural ambient sounds, enhancing the immersive serenity. Tools were gathered with care, ropes, sledges, chisels, and wooden levers, each checked meticulously, placed for immediate use, maintaining the organized, meditative flow of labor. Foreman moved slowly among the workers, offering calm guidance, low words of instruction, gestures precise and gentle, preserving the tranquil pace of the morning. Stones were lifted with deliberate coordination, ropes tightened, sledges guided carefully across sand, each motion rhythmic, hypnotic, and immersive, echoing softly across the desert. The pyramid's lower, middle, and partially completed upper layers glimmered in the early light, smooth surfaces reflecting the patient, careful effort of countless hands. Dust clouds rose gently as stones were moved, catching sunlight for a moment before settling softly, creating delicate, visual patterns in the air. Chisels tapped in rhythmic repetition, stones settled with quiet thuds, ropes creaked softly, forming a layered soundscape that merged naturally with wind and distant bird calls. Workers' hands moved in practiced patterns, lifting, adjusting, sliding, and aligning each stone slowly, deliberately, reinforcing a meditative, hypnotic tempo. Children observed quietly from the periphery, their presence soft, breathing calm, adding gentle life without disturbing the serene cadence of work. Water was shared periodically, each sip slow, restorative, allowing brief pauses while maintaining the continuous rhythm of labor. The uppermost levels of the pyramid were now the focus, requiring careful coordination, heightened attention, and precise, deliberate effort from all. Workers synchronized their movements, guiding large stones with ropes and levers, their actions slow, steady, and calming, forming a visual and auditory meditation. Foremen offered subtle, low corrections, adjusting alignment, and guiding placement with soft gestures, preserving the immersive, tranquil flow of work. The soft hum of conversation drifted across the site, never loud, blending seamlessly with the ambient sounds, wind, and rhythmic movements. Dust shimmered in sunlight with each motion, small particles catching the light briefly, enhancing the visual serenity of the scene. Stones were carefully adjusted, sledges guided smoothly, ropes retightened, all movements deliberate, slow, and hypnotically rhythmic. The pyramid's upper layers gradually rose, the majestic structure now nearly complete, casting long shadows across the desert and reflecting warm, golden light. Workers' movements became slightly slower, each motion deliberate, focused, and careful, ensuring perfect placement and alignment of each stone. Occasional soft laughter or whispered encouragement floated across the site, gentle, fleeting, and harmonizing with the calming rhythm of labor. Birds and small animals added intermittent, subtle sounds, their presence blending seamlessly with human activity, reinforcing tranquility. Water breaks were shared calmly, each pause brief, restorative, preserving the measured, unhurried pace of work. The pyramid's uppermost stones were positioned carefully, final adjustments made, angles checked and rechecked, ensuring precision and structural stability. Workers' hands moved in rhythmic repetition, lifting, aligning, sliding, and securing stones, forming a hypnotic, meditative choreography. The afternoon sun bathed the site in soft, warm light, shadows stretching, creating a visual harmony with the repetitive, calm actions of the workers. Dust swirled gently with each movement, catching sunlight, adding ephemeral beauty to the tranquil environment. Foremen moved quietly, inspecting progress, offering subtle, low guidance, maintaining calm, immersive order across the site. The pyramid's final layers were completed with measured patience, the structure now a harmonious blend of human skill, effort, and meditative repetition. Workers' movements were synchronized, smooth, deliberate, creating a soothing, hypnotic pattern of motion across the upper levels. The warm afternoon light illuminated the stones, their surfaces glowing softly, shadows dancing gently across sand and pyramid surfaces. Workers carefully checked final placements, ropes coiled, sledges positioned, tools stacked neatly, each action slow, deliberate, and calming. Fires were lit near the huts, flickering gently, casting warm light across sand, stone, and faces, adding a serene, visual rhythm to the environment. The pyramid stood majestic, complete, absorbing the energy and patience of labor, reflecting golden sunlight, and projecting calm across the desert. Conversation slowed, movement ceased, and workers returned to huts, each step deliberate, blending seamlessly with the tranquil desert evening. The air cooled as the sun lowered, shadows lengthened, and stars began to twinkle faintly in the deep indigo sky. Children and families settled quietly, blankets adjusted, fires providing warmth and comfort, the village embracing evening's calm. Workers completed evening rituals slowly, washing, arranging bedding, and preparing for rest, each motion deliberate and soothing. The desert embraced nightfall, wind softening, shadows deepening, the pyramid reflecting moonlight and flickering embers, majestic and still. Each breath taken by the villagers was deep, measured, releasing tension, reinforcing a calm, meditative atmosphere. The pyramids stood silent, serene, a sentinel of human patience, skill, and deliberate effort, radiating tranquility across sand and huts. Nocturnal sounds, the soft rustling of sand, distant animals, gentle wind, blended into a continuous, hypnotic, immersive backdrop. Workers' dreams carried echoes of lifting, sliding, chiseling stones, each motion slow and soothing, merging with the calm energy of the night. Fires burned low, embers glowing faintly, shadows flickering gently, merging with moonlight to create a peaceful, immersive visual landscape. Stars wheeled slowly overhead, silent, constant, marking the passage of time in the vast, serene desert. The pyramid remained steadfast, majestic, silent, a testament to human patience, careful repetition, and calm energy. The desert night deepened fully, the village quiet, workers asleep, and the pyramid radiating a continuous, meditative presence. Each inhalation of cool night air, each subtle sound, each gentle shadow contributed to a hypnotic, calming rhythm, enveloping all in serenity. The day concluded in peaceful harmony. The pyramid, workers, village, and desert united in a continuous, immersive narrative of patience, meticulous effort, and gentle, meditative labor. The soft whispers of wind, shifting sands, and distant nocturnal life formed an endless, soothing symphony, lulling the mind into calm reflection. The stars above, the glowing embers below, and the pyramid between created a perfect, tranquil balance, a harmonious tableau of serene endurance. The desert remained infinite, the village settled, and the pyramid stood eternal, a silent witness to patient work, human skill, and the quiet rhythm of creation. As night enveloped the landscape, every detail, stone, sand, breath, and heartbeat, merged into a continuous, meditative, and hypnotic experience. The workers, now asleep, carried the rhythm of the day into dreams, each movement repeated gently, softly, merging with the tranquil energy of the night. Fires glowed faintly, shadows danced slowly, and the pyramid reflected soft moonlight, the entire scene immersive, hypnotic, and serene. The desert night stretched endlessly, calm, infinite, and peaceful, each element contributing to a perfect, sleep-inducing harmony. The pyramid stood silent, majestic, eternal, embodying patience, skill, and quiet, deliberate repetition, a meditation in stone and human effort. With each passing moment, the hypnotic, serene atmosphere of sand, stone, wind, and distant life invited gentle rest, reflection, and calm. The story ended here, leaving the listener immersed in the vast, tranquil desert, the pyramid standing as a timeless, peaceful sentinel.